Good morning and welcome to the Sunday service for Unity of Kanawha Valley on Valentine's Day, February 14th, 2021. We are so glad you're here with us today. Whether or not you have a significant other, we all have the light of love that glows within each and every one of us. So we start our service this morning with the ringing of the bell and the lighting of the Christ candle. This is to remind us of this light that shines in us all. So we begin our service this morning. Our songs are led by Ron and accompanied by Jeff.
Hi everybody, happy Valentine's Day from me and the Lone Masked Marauder, Jeff, here on piano. So we're going to do, start off with Surely the Presence. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. I can feel his mighty power and his grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. I can feel her mighty power and her grace. There's a holy hush around us. I see glory on its face. Surely the presence of our God is in this place. And God is love. God is love, that love surrounds me. In that love I safely dwell. 'Tis above, beneath, within me. Love is mine and all is well. God is love, pure love. God is love, sweet love. That love is mine, mine, and all is well. God is life, that life surrounds me. In that life I safely dwell. 'Tis above, beneath, within me. Life is mine and all is well. God is life, pure life. God is life, sweet life. That life is mine, mine, and all
Thank you, Ron and Jeff, for that beautiful reminder that God is love. I failed to open the service with our opening statement, so let's say that together at this time. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And take just a moment to allow that truth to sink into your heart. And then let's say it together once more. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the good, omnipotent. And so it is. So for announcements today, I do want to welcome everyone who is joining us on the Zoom call this morning. We have guests from as far away as Georgia, which is in the previous USSR, clear across the country, or across the world, I'm sorry. It's 9:30 at night their time. And then we have all of our friends here who are scattered all over the United States. And I'm not sure if Heather's with us this morning. She usually comes to us from Mexico. So we truly, truly welcome you all to the Unity of Kanawha Valley service. For announcements, if you wish to support the Sojourner Shelter, they are in need of cereal, breakfast bars, and peanut butter. And we are still collecting bags for the Davis Children's Shelter. The children need backpacks or small bags that they can take their belongings as they leave the shelter and go into homes. So this is a great service that the members of Unity of Kanawha Valley have been fulfilling. Just arrange with Pam a good time when you can drop these at the church, and then we'll make sure they get to the shelter, to the kids that need them. Now, starting tomorrow at 5:30, Sky is doing kind of a book club on the Zoom meeting. And the book that they're going to be discussing is this one by Eric Butterworth, The Universe is Calling. And on the blurb on the back of the book says that this book addresses the growing need for understanding and clarity regarding the function and nature of prayer. So this is an excellent, excellent book about what prayer really is, what it is not, and kind of makes you thinking about the traditional ways of prayer, that you can think of it in a whole new light as a way to actually touch the God within each of us. So that's starting tomorrow at 5:30 on the same Zoom channel. Okay, and let's see. I believe that is all the announcements I have for this morning. So we will turn it over to Ryan, who will lead us in an opening meditation.
Okay. Thank you. Let's take a moment to get comfortable where we're sitting and closing our eyes, directing our attention within. Be aware of the body. Just feel the body. And feel the breath as it moves through the body. And without judgment, just as an observer, pay attention to exactly how your body feels. Maybe some areas feel comfortable and at ease, maybe some areas are tense, but you're just looking, observing, bringing a sense of presence. And acknowledge that this is the current state of spirit in your life right now. And as you breathe, direct your attention to your heart. And within your heart, imagine a radiant light, shining and still. And with each breath, that light grows brighter, clearer. And imagine a time when you were perfectly at peace. You had nowhere to go, nothing to do, nothing to prove. You were just perfect in the moment. Maybe you were on a beach or somewhere out in nature. But remember that time. And for the next minute or two, as you breathe, as you feel this radiance within your heart, hold the feeling of that peace, that all rightness. Even if it feels uncomfortable, your task is to call it forth with greater clarity in your being. Breathe. Remember to draw your attention back to your heart. No matter what distractions or thoughts or images arise within you, you remember that radiance within the heart, that sense of okayness. Everything is fine. Nothing needs to happen or change. You're right where you're meant to be. And with each breath, it grows stronger. And with each exhale, your distractions fall away. And now as you breathe, as we come to the final portion of our meditation time, imagine that light, that radiance shining through your chest and your arms and your neck and your head. With each breath, it grows brighter as it shines down through your abdomen, your back, upper legs, lower legs, and feet. And every sensation, pleasant, comfortable, or neutral, is radiant with this light. And imagine this radiance shining beyond your body. And think of your loved ones. See their faces. Imagine them radiant with this light. Think of people in need or who are suffering. And see them radiant, feel them radiant with this light. Think of one or two people you don't like or don't agree with or can't stand, and see them radiant with this light. With each breath, it grows stronger. And imagine the world spinning in space, with all the countries, all of its diverse peoples, radiant with this light of peace and harmony, a higher understanding. You're not trying to change anyone. You're just trying to see the possibility for them of peace, harmony, and higher understanding with love and grace. And let's just hold this image for 30 seconds or so. And then return your awareness back to your body, back to your breath. Feeling that light within you, feeling your body. As we go through the rest of the service, and ideally through the rest of your day, try to hold somewhere in your awareness this attention to the light within you and the light within your body as you breathe. And to conclude, we'll take a gentle, easy, deep breath in. On the exhale, relax and open your eyes. Thank you.
And now Alexa will read our daily word.
Daily word for Sunday, February 14th, is heart expression. You are dear to me. I hold you in my heart. Sharing love is a wonderful way of discovering and responding to the divinity alive in every heart, finding us as a human family. My loving nature helps me see the best in every person whose life touches mine. Today, I remember one of the legends of Saint Valentine, in which he fashioned pieces of parchment into hearts, which he gave to others as tokens of his compassion and God's love. Today, the tradition continues when I say, you are dear to me. I hold you in my heart with a gift, a card, a call, or a simple act of kindness. I share love with no expectation of reciprocation, and my heart welcomes every expression of love from others. Love's energy grows through both giving and receiving. I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also should love one another. John 13:34.
Since this is the month of love, here's a song about love. This is one of my songs called There Is Only Love. I used to think that God was an old man in the sky, like Santa Claus keeping track of who's naughty and who's nice, rewarding behavior with fortune or a flood, depending on who's been bad and who's been good. And I remember 8 years old, afraid to fall asleep, fearing if my soul was lost, what would happen to me? Would God, who knew my secret sins, cast me in that fiery lake? If I should die before I could wake. But that was long ago, and I've had time to repent of these misguided notions for one that makes more sense. There is only love, there is only love, one reality. There is only love, there is only love, all the rest is just a dream. And though fear and hate and evil seem so real, I believe that in time it shall be revealed that from the earth below to the heavens up above, there is only love. As Shakespeare said, all the world is just a stage, and we are but actors in one fantastic play. And though fear and hate and evil seem so real, I believe that in time it shall be revealed that from the earth below to the heavens up above, there is only love. Jehovah, Krishna, Allah, God has many names, but underneath it all, the simple truth remains. There is only love, there is only love, one reality. There is only love, there is only love, all the rest is just a dream. And though fear and hate and evil seem so real, I believe that in time it shall be revealed that from the earth below to the heavens up above, and all the whole wide universe, there is only love.
Oh, thank you, Ron and Jeff. What a beautiful, beautiful reminder that there is only love. Today, we are very blessed to have with us as our guest speaker, Ryan Kurzak. Ryan is a Kriya Yoga teacher, and he is a friend of Unity. I've heard him speak here many times. It is always heartfelt and inspirational. So we are very pleased to have Ryan with us today as he presents a message, How Love Heals. Ryan?
Okay, thank you. So for all of you who have relationships or partners, happy Valentine's Day. For all of you who don't, happy Independence Day. We're going to talk today about something kind of sensitive. And when I was asked to do this talk, I thought, sure, I can do a talk on this. And either Pam or Peggy messaged me and said, well, what's the title of your talk? So I thought about it a little bit, and I thought, well, how about How Love Heals? That'll be a great topic. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized I really have no idea what I'm going to say. Generally, when I give talks or when I teach classes, I like to talk about things that I know about, because then I feel I can share with some form of confidence or clarity. But the more I thought about trying to define what love is and what healing is, I was at quite a loss. So I'm going to do my best, so bear with me today. I have a few quotes that I wanted to start out with, and one of them is from Khalil Gibran, on one of his poems or prose dealing with love. He had written that, let me find it here. There we go. He had written that when love beckons to you, follow him. Though his ways are hard and steep, and when his wings enfold you, yield to him. Though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. And when he speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams as the north wind lays waste to the garden. For even as love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, so is he for your pruning. Even as he descends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall he descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. Like sheaves of corn, he gathers you unto himself. He threshes you to make you naked. He sifts you to free you from your husks, and he grinds you to whiteness. He kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast. This description from Khalil Gibran, in a way, sums up why I was having such a hard time determining how to approach this topic. Mainly because a lot of people, when they think of love, they think of something usually associated with surges of hormones or egotistical attachment to a tribe or your genetics. Or they'll think of love as something that has this magical power to change the world. In my own life, when I misunderstood love, I thought in those ways. And then when the person I loved died, it completely shattered me into a million pieces, wrecked my mind, my capacity to appreciate life, and almost ruined my faith. I falsely believed that love would be enough to change something within this world. And what I came to after a few years of wrestling with that was that love isn't about changing things in this world, that love is about changing yourself, about realizing what is true. And that when you engage in this world and you want to engage love, you have to be willing to suffer loss, to suffer difficulty, to endure illness and pain, as well as the joyful moments and moments of celebration. And further on, Khalil Gibran writes in this same poem, but if in your heart you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. And a few lines later, and think not that you can direct the course of love, For love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. And for many years of my life, it was easy to think that love could be directed, well, because things were going well. And when things weren't going so well, it was easy to think that love really wasn't worth it because of the pain that it could cause. However, when I reflected upon these words by Khalil Gibran, I think it brings into clarity that love really is meant to be there in all circumstances. And it can't be forced, and you can't control it. You just have to let it unfold. And sometimes love will be excruciating pain or excruciating grief or something of that nature. But that none of that discredits or removes those times that you have with those that you do love. Now, to lighten it up a little bit, one of the things that I did as I was trying to figure out what to do with this talk is I started researching jokes. Jokes about love, jokes about spiritual love, and most of them were not appropriate, so I'm not going to say them. But one in particular came up, particularly related to this final phrase from Khalil Gibran. And think not that you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Well, if we want to put that in joke fashion, we could ask, what do love and flatulence have in common? If you force either, it usually ends up in a mess. So, so we don't want to force it. But anyway, back to the point. So in the process of my own life, trying to make peace with the ups and the downs of love in this world, I began contemplating what it means to truly heal. And I contemplated what the saints and sages of authentic Enlightenment traditions, what they had to say on this topic. And I explored people who were near death, things they said when they were near death, or people who experienced near-death experiences. And all of them, at the end of it all, came to the understanding, much like Ron expressed in his song, that the only important thing is love. It's not money. It's not how popular you were. It's not how good you look. It was how you are able to understand and hold a space of love in this world. And Jesus, one of those masters of an Enlightenment tradition, it said that you should love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your mind. And that this is the first and greatest commandment. And the second is like it. Love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and the prophets hang on these two commandments. And many people forget this because they're caught up in the world. Many people forget this, that this is a great spiritual injunction. Now, we can't really spend a whole lot of time so much talking about what the idea of loving God with all your heart means, because it's a little bit more involved and it's not necessarily as literal as we might take it. But loving your neighbor as yourself, we can talk about this. And this really means having respect for those around you, being present for those that you love, being authentic and truthful for those that you want to share a loving relationship with. And it's easy to do this with friends. It's easy to do this with certain family members. But in our world, Jesus didn't come here and say, love your kids and love the neighbors that you like. He also said, love your enemies. Love was really part of the main emphasis of his teaching. In yoga philosophy, there is a practice called ahimsa, or harmlessness. And many think of this as a kind of moral injunction, like you have to do it, otherwise you're a bad yogi. Or from the Christian perspective, if you don't love your neighbor, if you don't love your enemies, that you're a bad Christian. And that's not really the point of ahimsa, harmlessness, and that's not really the point of this law that Jesus talks about. He speaks of it as a law. And we have other kinds of laws. Sure, there are laws that are man-made, but this kind of love, this law of love is not man-made. It's like the law of gravity. We're here to wake up to what we truly are, what our eternal nature is. And if we practice ahimsa or harmlessness towards others, that means respecting them, hearing them out, even if we don't agree with them. Eventually in time, we start to recognize that we are essentially one family. We are essentially one humanity, one soul, interacting through multiple bodies. When we practice harmlessness, when we stop trying to harm the environment, harm others, when we lose our sense of maliciousness, when we lose our sense of trying to prove ourselves to be better than others, we start to recognize that we are all in this together. And when we start to recognize that we are all in this together, true love starts to come forth. We lose our attachment to specific bodies and personalities. And by doing that, we also lose that sting of pain that comes when you love someone selfishly, or when all you can see is a body or a mind, when you don't see someone's spirit. So this spiritual injunction that Jesus shares with us really is to train us to begin to see what is true, what is eternal in life. And this is something that I learned the hard way. I had an idea about love. I had a projection of what life might be like with a certain person. And when that person disappeared, when she passed, that was an explosion of faith. That was an explosion of trying to figure out what made sense in the world. It took a long time to recover from that. And still, to this day, it's still kind of hard. But as Khalil Gibran talks about in his poem, you have to be willing to be wounded by the swords that are hidden within love. You have to be willing to experience that kind of heartache, that kind of difficulty that comes. But in the long run, what you start to realize is that love is everywhere, that bodies come and go, faces come and go, people come and go, but it is the spirit that animates them. So if you are in a situation where you have a loving family around you or a loving group of people around you, it's wonderful to appreciate their quirks and idiosyncrasies. But what's most important is to pay attention to the love that animates them, the love that gives the experience of being able to be together. Because if you can start to hold your awareness on that, then when things change, circumstances change, people change, you're not clinging. You're not trying to hold something to be what it can't be. You're able to let it go. And when you're able to have your hand open for love, well, then you start to see that love is a current and that love renews itself. Maybe new friends come your way. Maybe new experiences come your way. And if you keep yourself stuck on one thing, on one person, on one situation, on one circumstance, you lock yourself down and essentially you begin to die after that. And we know that Jesus said he came so that we have life more abundantly. And if you read deeply into the New Testament, you will hear many, many, many references which are very much in line with yoga practice and other types of enlightenment traditions about letting go of attachment, about being in the moment, about not toiling. When they talk about the lilies of the field, they don't worry about tomorrow. They're there fully present in the moment. So part of really experiencing love, part of the experience of healing is learning to let go of attachment and to be appropriate in the moment with who you are with. Because if you are with someone and you are not fully engaged in paying attention to them, maybe they're happy, and so you celebrate their joy with them. Maybe they're in grief and they're suffering, or they're ill, or they're dying. Well, love isn't going to come in and say, I can fix this. Love is going to come in and say, I can be here with you while this process happens. Because the biggest problem that we have, well, that I had, and many people have in life, is this thought that anything in this world is permanent and that it will remain. Nothing in this world is permanent. Nothing in this world will remain. Even Jesus, when he said, do not lay up yourself treasures on earth, where the moth and rust destroy and where thieves break and steal, but lay up for yourself treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, where thieves do not break in and steal. Where your treasure is, there also is your heart. He's telling you very clearly what to pay attention to, even when he says that his kingdom is not of this earth. And from a spiritual perspective, for spiritual love, it's learning to recognize that things are always changing, things are always transforming. And what we always have to pay attention to, or train ourselves to pay attention to, is the love in the moment, the presence in the moment. And that can be there whether there is joy, whether there is pain, whether there is suffering, whether it is the greatest wish of your life coming into fruition. That presence can always be there. So in order for our hearts to be healed, in order for us to be healed, I mean, really healed, and this goes counter to probably anything else that you're taught in this world or in this life, in order for us to be fully healed, we have to be able to see the world as the changing play, we could say, of God's drama. In the yogic tradition, they call that Leela, or the divine play. But to always remain established ourselves in that presence of love, no matter what happens, no matter what happens. Now, I wish I didn't have to say things like this, but I do. I'm not in any way encouraging people to not have standards or boundaries. We're not trying to encourage people to let themselves be walked on or mistreated. Because you can with a loving presence tell people, I love you, but this is not what's happening here. We're not doing this. And having distance, you also have to have self-love. So we have to keep this in consideration. Now, again, for me, I don't know if I ever would have come to this had I never experienced loss in my life the way I did. So this is the other reason I was hesitant to have this kind of talk, because I don't know how much sense it makes to people who haven't experienced a difficulty like that. But what I would say is, if you've never experienced love that you have lost, and that it kind of wrecked you a little bit, I would encourage you to start trying to consider what we've been discussing now. That way, as life happens and things come and go, you won't get wrecked so hard, and that you can come at whatever difficulties with a sense of love. And this will create the greatest healing for you in the long run. Now, to finish up, I want to take this to more of a global or larger level, because we live in a world right now where there's a lot of divisiveness. There's a lot of people thinking that they're right and others are wrong. And this has been going on for thousands of years, so this is nothing new, but it seems to be a little more amplified right now. And in my mind, a lot of it stems from, number one, a lack of respect for each other as human beings. Number two, fear. And all of that stems from an attachment to wanting our small sense of self, our little egos, to be the most important thing. That's the biggest problem that we face. And in yoga, they say the only thing you really need to get over is your small sense of self. And if you do that, everything will be all right. In order to be able to experience love, we have to be able to get over our small sense of self, because we have to include others within our thought process and within our consideration. Many people think that by being loving to others, then the world will change. And this reminded me of a quote from Ramana Maharshi, the fellow on the wall back here. He had said, this is kind of a paraphrase, wanting to reform the world without discovering one's true self is like trying to cover the world with leather to avoid the pain of walking on stones and thorns. It is much simpler to wear shoes. And in my own exploration of this idea of love, no matter how I looked at it, no matter what angle I came at it from, I realized that the true healing power of love is for ourself. Because you can shower love upon others, but most of the time when we do that, it's what we think they want. And for ourselves, in order to embody love, we have to begin being more present. We have to begin being more understanding, more patient, calmer in difficult situations, not jumping to conclusions. And the more we do this, the more peaceful we become inside. And then you don't make the mistakes that many people have made in difficult situations where something horrible is happening and you want to give them love. And so you start giving them false hope. Well, it'll be all right. I'm sure God will save them, these sorts of things. And maybe you're lucky, but really you're just gambling. Maybe that happens and everything works out. But if it doesn't, well, then you've just gambled in a very difficult fashion, and that person becomes even more hurt because then they start to wonder and question, well, why didn't it work out? Why didn't God's love save this person? Why didn't God change this thing? But if you are able to let go of that and simply be present with others, because you can be present with yourself, then no matter what difficulty someone is experiencing, you're there for them. You're not making false promises. You're not giving them false hope. You're saying, I'm here for you in this joy. I'm here for you in this pain. That's about all I know. And if you can hold that, then the situation can be transformed to love. I say this because one of my friends from Asheville happens to be going through a similar situation that my late wife went through, having to get a bone marrow transplant. And I'm concerned for her. And I know what she's going to go through, and I know what she's gone through already. And I've told her, I said, look, I'll do anything that you need. I'm here for you. And I said, you can always tell me to shut up because I know what it's like when people say silly things to you in situations like this because I've been there. And she acknowledged that that was true. And I made the mistake. Of course I did. I contacted her recently and I said that same thing. And she said, well, there's nothing much you can do unless you can perform miracles. And that smacked me in the face because I remember saying that to other people. And you can't perform miracles. But what you can do is you can be there for others. You can learn to know what you are inside as a presence, which is going to see goodness, which is going to see difficulty, and you can learn to be there no matter what. And one final quote from Ramana Maharshi, speaking of this on a more global scale. He had said that when we treat each other with respect and have good brotherly feelings towards each other, great peace and harmony abound. Then all this earth shines like one house. The whole world shines like the one dwelling house of the entire human family. And I find this to be very important, but I also want to follow it up with the idea that this is for you. You don't want to run around acting kind and loving to everyone, thinking that by doing that they're going to change their political views, that suddenly they're going to understand what you understand. You're not doing it to change anyone. You are doing it to establish yourself in a space of respect and love, not for any reason other than it is the right thing to do. Many people live in this life like animals. They want to take care of their young. They want to gain as many resources as they can. And even the most intelligent people do this. But we are meant to come at life from a more spiritual perspective. And as time goes on, as the centuries roll on, this will become more natural and more easy. It's becoming more natural and more easy now, just because of how culture is functioning. But we have to do it for ourselves. We can only do it for ourselves. We can't be concerned if others take up this task. We can't be upset if people still insult you or call you stupid or act like you don't know what you're talking about. But if you can remain established with this sense, as Ramana Maharshi says, treating each other with respect, with good brotherly feelings towards each other, if you can establish that peace and harmony within yourself, no matter what anyone else does, you are lighting one lamp for this world. And if you can do it, then maybe your children will see it, or your grandchildren, or your nieces and nephews, and maybe they will change just a little bit. And then as the centuries go on, their children will change just a little bit, until eventually we move away from making our choices based on fear, based on who can shout the loudest about a political idea, which scares us and drives us to being irrational. We can move away from tribalism, thinking that we have the right way, to embracing the norm of seeing that we are part of a larger human family, no matter the color of our skin, no matter our sexual preference, no matter how dumb or intelligent we are, how transcendental or enlightened or mundane we are. We see that we all have a place, and it's all an expression of love, all an expression of life, which is love, all an expression of God. And all of this is a mystery. That's why I had such a hard time with this, because God is a mystery. You can't understand God. Love and God are the same. It's a mystery. You can't understand it. Life is a mystery. But if you can make peace with that and remain in a state of love no matter what, you are fulfilling your role in this world. You can be yourself. You can fulfill your role. And you can let this light, you can let this love, you can let this presence fill your relationships, not to change them, not to make them better, but just because it is your mission to bring that into this world. Even if no one else does it, it is your role to do this. Even if no one else listens to you, it is your role to do this. And if you can become so established in that, you won't worry about spiritual insights or enlightenment, because you will be established in the one thing that we're here to do. And then when it's time to die, you will die in love. If it's time to be reborn, you will be reborn in love. But no matter what, there will always be this undercurrent of love, and that's what we're meant to do. So that's the end of my notes. So thank you, and hopefully this was helpful in understanding something about love.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. Oh, it did touch my heart to hear you speak today about love and how it all starts right here, right here. So thank you for that. At this time, we do ask that you support our ministry. You can do that online. You can send a check to the church. We are a tithing church, which means 10% of everything that comes in goes back out to bless others. And this month we are tithing to Cafe Appalachia, which is a little cafe in South Charleston that offers employment to women in recovery. They also grow most of their own food. I think they're open from 7:30 to 2:30 every day. So it's breakfast and lunch, Monday through Saturday. But it is an organization that is spreading love and peace in this world. So say with me our offering blessing together. Divine love, moving in and through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. I give in love, I trust God, and I am grateful.
One, two, three. Love is but the song we sing. Feel the way we die. You can make the
thank you, Ron and Jeff. I don't know about all you, but I am basking in all this love this morning. I love it, love it, love it. So at this time, let's take a moment to give thanks for the gifts and offerings. Take a deep breath. Allow yourself to settle into your heart space. Allow that space to open. Feel your connection to the divine. In this divine presence, we say thank you to everyone who shares of their time and their talent and their treasure. We so appreciate you and your many, many gifts. We are grateful that Unity of Kanawha Valley is a beacon of love, and that even during these times when we can't be together in person, we still give of ourselves so that this church continues to be a beacon of love. So we say thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. Amen. Now, I know we have lots or a few birthdays and some anniversaries, so I'm going to put on gallery view here. I know Beth Laughlin has a birthday. Rich and Karen's grandson, Wyatt, just turned 16. Barbie and Danny today celebrating 40 years of marriage. Yay. Okay, is there anyone else here? I'm trying. Let's see, Lindsay, you want to unmute and tell us what you're celebrating?
It was my birthday yesterday.
Oh, Lindsay, happy birthday to Lindsay.
Thank you.
Let's see. I'm not sure how I can see other people. Let's see. I'm seeing the first, yeah. I can see like the first 25 on my computer. Ryan, are you raising your hand?
I am, but only because I have another joke.
Oh, good, good. Share your joke with us.
What's the difference between love and marriage?
I don't know. What?
Love is blind and marriage is an eye-opener.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Let me see here. I have a thing here. Maybe this will. Oh, now I can see the other people. Is there anyone else who has a birthday or an anniversary or anything else you're celebrating? Okay. Well, Rich, let's go to our birthday song. And we are singing happy birthday to Beth and Wyatt and Lindsay, and happy anniversary to Barbie and Danny.
Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now.
thank you everybody for being here. If you would like to unmute yourself, we can chat a little bit. They let me mute everybody, but they don't let me unmute everybody. So you have to do that on your own.
That
Hello,
was
everybody.
a wonderful lesson, Ryan. Wonderful.
It was. Thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you.
Yep.
And I love seeing all your friends here from all over the world joining us. That was just amazing for me.
Yeah, I'm glad they could make it. All of you, glad you could make it.
Yeah, we had a nice crowd this morning.
Look like a record number.
Looked like it.
Yeah, we're happy to have all the first timers. Please come back.
Yeah.
Always welcome.
I don't know about you guys, but I love this Zoom thing.
Yeah.
Thanks to Rick.
It's
I mean,
not
I know
church, but
people-
it's pretty good that we've got it.
Yeah, people
we
are
wouldn't-
fussing about it. I love it. I just love it.
Terrific.
We wouldn't have been able to gather in person today because of all the ice on the roads.
Right.
Oh, it was
Came
terrible. My whole
together.
car was iced over.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So
you
here
stay
we
home
are
in your jammies
gathering.
much-
Yeah.
I mean,
Plus, we don't have to wear masks, and that's
Right,
a good thing. We can see the whole face.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm grateful for Zoom, but I really miss being in person and getting to hug everybody
Yeah,
and
hugging.
all that. So I am chomping at the bit here to get back in that building as soon as we
Yeah.
can. As soon as we safely can. I don't want us to do it too early, but
It'll be nice.
Nice to know, isn't it, that love flows through the internet just as well as it does through our arms.
That's
Well,
right.
although it's not as nice. And
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that when we go back in person that we can also keep the Zoom because
Yeah.
I've had several. I'm so grateful for my Florida, Massachusetts, New York, all of my friends that I get to see,
Oh, yeah.
you know, and I know they're not going to be able to attend in person, but hope we can do both.
Mm-hmm.
well, my plan is that we will have Zoom in addition to however we do the rest of the service.
We're counting on you, Rich. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Rich.
You can count on me. I've got it.
Oh, big shoulders, Rich.
Got it.
I know we had a Facebook feed before.